Okay. All right. So I just got the red boxes on my StreamYard, which lets me know that I am officially live. Hold on, wait a minute. Camera needs to be turned a little bit. All right. Very cool. So I'm live recording the StreamYard. Now I just gotta wait for YouTube to let you. Whoa. Wow, that was fast. So YouTube has already let you all know that I'm live. Usually it takes like a minute or two, but no. YouTube is not wasting any time today. They want y'all to know that we're live. So now the entirety of Vype Nation knows that we are live. So hello everybody, how you doing? We got Lila out there. That's funny. What's up, Lila? We got Tish out there. Hey Tish. Got Ask Cash. What's up, man? What's going on? 504's in the cut. Will Barlow, El Jefe Hoes. We got CF out here. And Boogle, what's up? Mike Bender too, man. The whole squad is on deck. Y'all got here quick. Damn. It went from 0 to 16 in like a second. That is crazy. But that's cool though. All right. So now the squad has been alerted and we are in the building. Let's go ahead and get into the podcast because this should be a fun one. I'm gonna take a drink real quick and then we'll begin. All right. So, this is VypDrive episode 106. And with it brings one of the rising stars in the YouTube space to the podcast. Ooh, we got an Adobe Premiere filmmaking vlogging specialist on deck on VypDrive, which starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And today we have a rising star in the YouTube space. We have an Adobe Premiere specialist on deck. We got a filmmaker, vlogging extraordinaire. Let's bring in Miss Lila to the podcast. Hey, Lila, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. So, Lila, first question I ask every new guest that comes to the podcast. Do people want to know what brought you to YouTube?
Oh my gosh. I don't think I have an interesting story. I just wanted to be on YouTube. I was... it's funny because my best friend, she told me for years, you have to go on YouTube. And I was like, no one's going to like me. I'm kind of weird, no one's going to like me. But then, so before I started YouTube, I was making videos. I was trying to build a video production company. And while I was doing that, I still didn't feel fulfilled because I still didn't have my creative outlet because you were doing work for others and making other people happy. And I was kind of like, I kind of want to make myself happy. So that is why I started YouTube, and that is what I'm doing here.
You know what? I think you bring up a good point because, for the longest time, we're taught, you go to school, you get an education, you get a job. But when you go get an education and you get that job, 9 times out of 10, you're working for somebody else. You're not working for yourself. So the fact that you wanted to come on here and work for yourself, I mean, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, right now I work for somebody else, but one day I want to be able to work for myself. So I completely understand your desire and wanting to work for yourself because at some point you just want to be your own boss, do your own thing. You don't have to worry about how other people are judging you and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and before this, I worked in marketing. So I did work in the corporate world. And then I took a little break. And that was when I was like, okay, I want to do something that I truly love. And I loved marketing, but just working in a company where everything was about money, I was just like, I don't know. I want to do something more for this world than to advertise product X. So that is when I decided to start my own video production company because I've always been into video and film. But then that is what I just explained. But then I was still kind of like, I'm kind of missing that bit for me. So that is why I entered YouTube. And I never expected to be where I am now. I just kind of wanted to make videos and meet some people that also like the same thing that I did because in my real life, I don't know anyone who likes the same thing that I do. So, yeah.
That is cool. So you do different content on YouTube. You do filmmaking things. Obviously, you do a lot of Adobe Premiere Pro tutorial type things. Um,
Yeah.
So what led you down the path? Because I see, like, if I look down the catalog of your content on your channel, it's mostly Adobe Premiere stuff. So what led you down that path?
Well, I really enjoy video editing. I feel like in the video editing stage, that is where the story really comes alive. And if there is one thing that I really believe in, it's that our biggest superpower as humans is just telling stories and telling your own story. So basically, when I started my YouTube channel, I wanted it to be a filmmaking channel, and I still want it to be a filmmaking channel. But I started making video editing tutorials, and I really enjoyed those. And I really enjoyed giving people the tools, like people that looked at Premiere Pro and were like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to use this. This is way too complicated for me. And just make it accessible for everyone. That was my main goal with the videos that I make. And that is also the feedback that I get from everyone. Like, people can now make holograms in Premiere Pro, or they can do like crazy stuff that they never thought that they could do. And that is kind of how and why I started making more and more Premiere tutorials.
Now, obviously, for people that make video, there is Premiere Pro and then there's Final Cut. Have you ever had any thoughts about using Final Cut?
No. Basically, my little history with video editing is that first, when I was younger, when I was like 14, I used a cracked version of Sony Vegas, which is apparently a way that a lot of people, that's how they start with video editing. And well, then came college and everything, and then I decided to use Premiere. I believe that Final Cut Pro is only available for Mac, or at least that's what I've seen. I haven't really seen any. Maybe there's like a workaround, but I don't know. So that is basically the only reason why I haven't used Final Cut Pro. And right now I am super happy with using Premiere, so I'm not really looking to change to any other video editor.
Gotcha. All right. So for those of y'all listening on audio, we have a visitor to the podcast. And Lila, why don't you tell us about our visitor behind you there?
I'm sorry, I can't control them. So that is Haley. It's not the famous Gizmo. Gizmo is kind of famous on my channel now, but this one is actually usually very camera shy. Right now, she's very shamelessly washing herself.
We got cats on the podcast, y'all. We got cats on the podcast. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a crazy cat lady. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
She is just back there chilling, like minding her own business. She doesn't care what's going on.
If she knew there was a camera on her, she wouldn't be here.
Yeah, she didn't get into it, man. She didn't get into it.
Look at her.
She didn't get into a hardcore. She had no idea she's being watched by people all over the world. Oh man. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I need to focus. I need to focus. Let me refocus. Let me refocus there. Let me refocus. Oh God, I need to refocus. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm back. We're back. We're back. Sorry about that, you all. Let me have to refocus for a second there, but we're back. We're back. So I'm curious. What is it that you like most about editing with Adobe Premiere Pro? Because I hear a lot of complaints on Twitter and things about how sometimes it crashes, and unless you save your work, it completely just kills your workflow. So what is it that you like best about editing with that program?
That's funny because I think Adobe Premiere Pro crashed like twice for me in the last 1.5 years. So I see it a lot as well on Twitter. People joking about Premiere Pro crashing and all that, but I don't have any experience with that. So that is one of the reasons why I still use Premiere. It has treated me very well.
Wow.
And I think for me, now that I'm used to Premiere. So for me, it just works. Like it makes sense in my brain. And I understand that for different people, there's different video editors. It also depends on the needs that you have as a video editor. Like, what do you want to edit? But also depends on like what works for your brain, basically. And for me, Premiere Pro works really well. And I think in general, what I love about Premiere is actually the entire Adobe ecosystem, because you can seamlessly work with like Photoshop, After Effects, Adobe Rush. It just works. And that is what I love about it the most, I think.
Excuse me. Yeah, that is the one cool thing about Premiere Pro, like the way that Adobe has like an entire ecosystem of apps like that work together with each other for creators. Like you said, they got Premiere Pro, they got I think it's called Adobe Audition, where you can edit audio and things like that. Yeah. You got Photoshop. So the way that Adobe is able to implement all of those apps into an ecosystem so they work together is kind of cool. However, what's not cool, Lila, is the fact that you got to pay a monthly fee to use all of it. I'm like, what is this? The monthly fee? What's up with that?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what's up with that. I wish I could pay just one price and then just own it. I wish that was the case, especially like long term. You're going to pay a lot more on a subscription base. But at the same time, because I use like almost all of the apps, like I use Audition, I use After Effects, I use Photoshop, Lightroom, Rush, like I use so many of their programs, it is still worth it. It's a lot of money, but I feel like for me, at least, it is worth it. But if I could choose between a subscription and just one price and then own it, I would definitely go for paying it once and then own it.
Listen, we as creators, we use video editing software all of the time, so absolutely it's worth it. If you're on Mac and you're using Final Cut Pro, yes, Final Cut Pro is a one-time $300 fee. But number one is a one-time fee. Number two, I mean, are you really gonna say no to Final Cut Pro if you're using a Mac? You'd be a fool to say no to Final Cut Pro. So I completely understand, like, when you wanted to use Adobe Premiere Pro and paying that subscription fee. I mean, of course you're gonna pay it. I mean, that is your software editing program of choice. And Roberto Blake swears by Premiere Pro. He always talks about, oh, how Premiere Pro makes me so powerful, like the Emperor and all this other stuff. So I know. Roberto be talking about Premiere Pro so much, so it must be doing things right if, Roberto speaks highly of it, and obviously you use it yourself. So yeah, they're doing some good things over there with Adobe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of YouTube creators that are using Premiere. I mean, for example, Peter McKinnon, he also uses Premiere, and he still uses Premiere, even though he made a video about it crashing and what you can do when it crashes. I mean, it's just the ecosystem. I think it's kind of like Apple. Once you're in the ecosystem, you just love how everything works so seamlessly together. Yep. I feel like that's the same for Adobe. Once you're like in that Adobe ecosystem, you kind of don't want to leave.
Yeah, that is a comfort thing. I can definitely attest to the Apple ecosystem and how it just keeps you locked in, because once you have all those products and they work together so well, it is really difficult, and you really don't want to leave, because once you establish that workflow, you don't want to interrupt that workflow, because as creators, it's very important that we maintain a consistent workflow to get the maximum productivity out of what it is that we're trying to do. So I definitely understand your point about the workflow. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I think that for me personally, if I think now about having to learn Final Cut or something, the learning curve, I just don't want to do it. Especially because I want to be efficient and I want to have my workflow. And then on top of that, the ecosystem again, like the fact that I can just use everything and everything works together so seamlessly, and I don't have to open like separate programs and then import and export and do all that stuff, that really saves a lot of time. And that makes me a lot more efficient than I would be if I were using, I don't know, maybe DaVinci or Final Cut or any other standalone video editor.
Absolutely. And it is not lost on me that as soon as I say Roberto in Premiere Pro, we get a visit from the Emperor himself. Roberto Blake is live. What's up, Roberto? How you doing?
Roberto.
Roberto's like, you'd have to pry Adobe from my code, deadhead.
Yes, me too. I'm on Team Roberto.
All right, so I know we were talking about this a little bit before we went live. But your channel has had kind of a little small like blow up. When I first actually I think I first put on to you by Travis MCP, and I think that was a few months ago. And back then you were at maybe like a few hundred subscribers and things like that. Now fast forward maybe 5-6 months later, you're at 18,000 subscribers. I mean, do you have any idea how you went from like less than 1,000 a few months ago to 18,000 now? What have you been doing, Lila? What's your secret here?
Oh my gosh. I think there are so many factors that contribute to my growth. I definitely think that I am not walking the regular path, because ever since I started on June 10th last year, I started growing little by little. Like the first week I got 9 subscribers, then I got 15, and then you get like 5, but it kind of already started from the beginning. And then it kind of just started snowballing. And I don't know. I think there are so many factors. I think one of the factors is that my channel right now is pretty specific, because now I have a lot of Premiere tutorials. But at the same time, I think my channel is also very personality driven, because there's a lot of people who don't use Premiere Pro who are watching my videos. And when I upload vlogs, they also rank 1 out of 10 on my dashboard. So It's not like people only come for the Premiere Pro tutorials and they don't care about anything else. And I think that is one of the things that differentiates me, I think, or distinguishes me from other channels. And I think that has contributed to my growth. Yeah.
I would definitely say so. I know a thing or two about being a personality and like getting people to like you for more than your content. So I would definitely say that has something to do with it. I've watched some of your videos. You definitely have a likable personality, something that people can like gravitate and hold on to. So absolutely,
Well,
you are doing the thing. You are doing the thing. Shout out to those of y'all that are watching the podcast live today with me and Lila. Thank you guys for rocking out for another episode of VypDrive. If you would like to support the podcast, you do have the option to super chat. You also have the option to become a channel member, or you could buy me a coffee. The link is in the description for that. If you give me a second here, I'll put the membership link in the chat if you guys want to do that. None of this stuff is actually required, mind you, but anything that you are willing to do is greatly appreciated. So there's the link if you want to become a channel member. And that's basically for people that are watching on iOS devices, because the join button that you would normally find there isn't there on an iOS device because Apple, Google, and war. So yeah, if you want to become a channel member, there you go. Shout out to those of y'all. Yep. Yes, it is. Shout out to those of y'all listening on audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Lila. I appreciate you guys rocking out each and every episode. If you would like to support the podcast, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. Not required, but anything that you're willing to donate, support with is greatly appreciated. Also, if you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as to help more people discover the show. Like I keep harping on, I'm trying to get back into the top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple Podcasts. So anything that you can do to contribute to that, rating, review on Apple Podcasts will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So Lila, let's talk about your YouTube thumbnails, because I'm looking at these thumbnails and I'm impressed. They pop out at you. So what are some tips that you can give to people for doing YouTube thumbnails?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I think it really depends on the type of content that you're making. If you want to go for like a 2-panel thumbnail or a 3-panel thumbnail, basically meaning that you either divide your thumbnail into like 2 parts or in 3 parts. But for me, I think what is really important is to also develop a brand around yourself. So for me, it is all, I mean, if you see my house, it's very muted, it's very moody. And that is also what I want to do in my thumbnail. So I think that one of the basic tips is don't use too much text in your thumbnail. Only use text if it's necessary or if it's complementary to your title, because don't repeat what is in your title in your thumbnail. That doesn't make any sense. What you want to do is when people are scrolling, you want to catch their attention. And how are you going to grab their attention? By having a thumbnail that really stands out. And the other part, what I said about branding your thumbnails, for example, there was an example like Becky and Chris. They have a very defined style. So when you're scrolling, even though you don't see what's on the thumbnail, you know it's them. So you maybe stop and then you go back and you're like, oh, let's see. Oh, new video, you know? So I think that there are, I'm a little bit all over the place right now, but basically my first tips for, at least for beginners, is that you want to use as little text as possible, like maybe max 3 words, depending on your title. Don't repeat what's in your title. Make sure that your title and your thumbnail work together. You want to make sure that your thumbnail also tells the story of your video. So if you're doing a vlog, you want to make sure that you put the core of your story in the thumbnail so that people see your thumbnail and then want to watch your video. And they also kind of already know what it's about. How much do you want me to go into detail about this? Because I can talk about this for a very long time.
Hey, this is the podcast. This is long form content. So we like detailed explanations here on the podcast, and we don't have a problem with this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No. I think it's so hard to give general advice other than the advice that's already out there. Like people like Roberto and Daryl, they all talk about it. So it's kind of, I mean, it's just the basic things like what I already said, the text, and a lot of people say make the color pop in your thumbnails. That's something that I don't really do. I have something that pops, but it's not like my entire thumbnail is red and yellow and blue. I don't really do that. excuse me, what else? You want to make sure something that people also say, but that's not something that I necessarily do. But what people also say is that having a close up is really really good, and also helps establish a connection between you and the viewer. So if you have, I don't know, they even say like if you have like the wides of your eyes, if that's very visible, then people can connect with you better than when you are very small on your thumbnail. Those are already, I feel like when it comes to thumbnails, there are so many strategies and there is so much more thought that is required in making a thumbnail than to just like use a screen grab or something. There's really a lot of strategy behind it.
Definitely. All right, so I just realized that I probably should explain for people that might be listening, because I'm pretty sure most of y'all that are watching this on YouTube, you know what a thumbnail is. But for those of y'all listening on audio only and you don't know what we're talking about when we say thumbnail, a thumbnail is the image that you see on YouTube right above the title of a video. So a lot of times people will have like their picture of them and doing some crazy action, or maybe they have like some type of emotion on their face, or maybe it's like a text. I mean, there's all different types of thumbnails, but a thumbnail is the art, it's the video art that you see on YouTube before you click on it. And that's why most YouTube educators would tell creators that you have to concentrate on your thumbnail, because that's the first thing that a potential viewer sees when they click on YouTube, when they want to watch your video. They're looking at your thumbnail, and then obviously below the thumbnail is the title of the video. But that is what we're talking about when we say thumbnails. And then the art that you see on YouTube that is right above the title of the video, that is the thumbnail.
Yeah, basically everything that you were taught as a kid, like don't judge a book by its cover. Everyone's judging a book or your video by the cover. So make sure that your cover is very, very pretty and captivating. And yeah, I mean, to come back to your question about what I do for my thumbnails, when it comes to my Premiere Pro tutorials, it's kind of just showcasing the effect. So for example, if I do a hologram video, I make sure that the hologram is popping out so that people hopefully see it and think it's cool. And they're like, oh, cool, I want to learn how to do this. And what I already said, I have kind of like a color scheme that I try to follow in all of my thumbnails. It's not happening in all of my thumbnails, but I'm trying to. But yeah, I think that those are the things that I like to do for my own thumbnails.
Yeah, I see Roberto, he wants you to talk about what you think about for your own process and why you like those things. I think you kind of went into it a little bit. I think you said that you want your thumbnails to be moody like your videos. You want that moody type feel. You want your thumbnails to tell a story. You said you want your thumbnails to tell the story of your videos. And like you're pretty good at that, because I mean, these thumbnails are definitely, I mean, well, most of them portray that dark, moody like feel that you're trying to get across. So that's why I'm asking you, because you're doing pretty good at the thumbnail game.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually looking at my own thumbnails right now, just so I can see what I'm actually doing. Because like, the funny thing is that actually I was talking to a friend about this. Like I was so stuck on making a thumbnail, I had no ideas. I was like, what am I going to do? And then I had this thumbnail, and he was basically like, yeah, this is not really the Lila style that I'm used to. And I was like, oh, I have a style, okay. But then I actually started to look at my thumbnails a little bit better. And I now I'm more strategic about the thumbnails that I use, and I make sure that they are all a little bit coherent and they all match. But yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at my thumbnails right now, what do? I just try to, honestly, I just try to showcase what I'm doing in the video, in the thumbnail, and I try to have it all match a little bit with my style and with my, with my mood in the video. Even though I am quite a cheery person in my videos, the videos all look very moody.
Right. Hey, and they know I love mood lighting, so the mood lighting that you got going on for your thumbnails and videos is A1. I am down.
Thanks.
All right, so let's talk about personality and trying to put your personality in your videos, especially when you're first starting out. I'm pretty sure, as you're aware, Lila, when you're first starting a channel on YouTube, nobody knows who you are, which means they don't care about your personality. They're there because they are expecting you to provide some type of value for their time. Like you do Adobe Premiere tutorials. So I'm pretty sure in the early days, right now, most people are coming to your channel for those tutorials. But we're not robots. We're human beings. So we want to present our personality in video because it's like a creative outlet. But obviously, when you're first starting out, nobody cares about your personality because they don't know who you are. So,
Yeah.
Lila, I guess my question to you is, seeing that you are still relatively new on the platform and you are having success, how do you go about integrating your personality into your videos while still providing that value that the viewers come to the channel for?
Yeah, so basically the approach that I go for is called edutainment. So it's education with entertainment. And that is a great way to inject my own personality in the videos. And I wouldn't do it any other way. Like, this is how I started doing my videos, because I feel like, you know, if this is something that I want to do as well, like I want to provide value, but I also want to do something for me. So I feel like it's a great like middle ground where I can just inject my personality and have a little bit of fun while I'm filming, instead of just me explaining what I'm doing and how you can do it too. And it seems to be quite of a success. There are some people, of course, there are people that tell me that they don't like it and that they just want the information, and I just tell them there are other tutorials that are like that. Please
get out of here.
Don't watch that tutorial.
Yes.
Don't waste my time.
Oh! She did not waste her time. Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
Love
I
it.
mean, there are so many, like, it is saturated, but at the same time it's not. But I feel like if you don't like my style, then feel free to, I mean, there's nothing against you. I still love you. Just go and watch a tutorial that works for you, you know? I mean, I'm not going to change my style just because there are so many people who do love it. I'm not just going to change my style because there are a few people who don't like it.
Oh, I cannot tell you enough how I relate to what you're saying right now. I feel like I'm saying this at least once a month to people on YouTube. I am not going to change who I am for you. If you don't like how excited, if you don't like how loud I am in my videos, there are 1,000 other monotone tech videos for you to go watch. I am not the guy for you. So,
Yeah.
Lila, I completely agree with what you're saying when you tell people, like, no, if my style doesn't work for you, if my personality does not work for you, there are other tutorials that you can watch. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Hit the road. I like that. I like that in you. I like that.
Yeah, no, that is definitely my approach. I mean, there are some people are like, stop showing your face. We know you're beautiful. Just show us what you're doing. And I'm like, go away.
What?
I'm trying to stay PG right now because I wanted to say something else, but
I appreciate your restraint. I appreciate it because I know how you feel and I know what you want to say.
Yep, trying.
All right, you know what? Let's piggyback. Let's dig into that a little bit.
Okay.
So, obviously, being a creator, you do get negative comments, trolls, negative feedback. So, how do you handle the negativity that people throw at you, especially when it's unprovoked, undeserved, which we get a lot of?
Honestly, I haven't gotten that many. Like, I have gotten like negative comments. I have had 2 hate comments, but besides that, it's just a lot of love, and then there's just a few here and there that just say, "Oh, you talk too much" or something like that. But I don't really consider that a negative comment. I'm just like, "Oh, whatever, just whatever."
Right.
But yeah, when I do, I actually had a hate comment the other day, and I stood up for myself. I was like, you know what? I don't agree with you. I mean, I won't repeat what it said, but I was just, sometimes I feel like you do need to know the balance between when to reply and when not to reply.
Yeah.
But this time I was just like, I gotta reply. I'm Dutch as well, so I'm very direct. So sometimes I think that is why Roberto and I are such great friends, because we can just say whatever we want.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I replied to it and it felt so good. And then then the person came back with a stupid reply, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna block you now. I had enough fun. But yeah, I don't know. Like, when someone, honestly, in general, when someone leaves a negative comment or a hate comment, my mantra is always like, hurt people. If you're happy with your life, if you're happy with yourself, you're not going to hate on someone. You're not going to take the effort to go to someone's comment section and say, oh, you suck. You don't do that because you're like, oh, I don't like this video. I just watch another one, But for some reason, there are people that are just very hurt and they want to like take it out on other people. And those other people usually are creators, because creators aren't humans. We are not people. We can take the negative comments, apparently. I don't know. But I try to come from a place of empathy for that reason, because usually there is something behind it. There's a reason why someone takes it out on you. But sometimes someone just kind of sucks, That's just
It's the reality. You're not.
Yeah, I mean, how do you deal with it?
You know what? Like I've said a lot of times, I'm open to constructive criticism. If you are telling me something that is legitimately off, like when I was first starting, like 5 months into my YouTube career, I got a message, I got a DM from somebody that said, dude, I love your content, but you need to do something about your audio because your audio is off. I can work with that. If it's something that can help make me a better creator, I'm all for that type of criticism. But if it's just something talk about I'm too loud or you're not sophisticated enough, I'm probably going to delete your comment and move on about my life. I don't have, dude, as most of y'all know, I've been busy. I stay busy. I don't have time to entertain nonsense. I'm working out here, man. So if it's just some troll type comments, some negative people just try to be negative, I'm not even entertaining it, baby. I'm basically deleting it and moving on with my life. I'm too busy. But
I think that's so important. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this as well, where we were talking about negative comments and how it can affect your mental health. And I was at Power of Video in Belfast last year, and I was at this master class from Elle Mills. I don't know if you know her. She's such a great creator. Like, she's amazing. All of her videos are little movies. It's so amazing. But she was basically telling us that she had 2 instances where people created this hate trend for her on Twitter, and then it kind of took over her comment sections as well, which has led to her not looking at her comments at all, because she was like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, it had a negative impact on my mental health. And I think that is so important, is that whatever you do, you should never sacrifice your mental health. So if you want to reply to comments, my advice generally would be just reply to comments in the first hour, because that is your core audience. That is your notification squad. Yep. Go reply to them, and then be like, okay, I did my thing. I'm just going to let it go now because I cannot take it. I think it's so important that I think Chris from Becky and Chris, he tweeted this today as well, is that you should not feel responsible for having to talk to everyone online or having to talk to strangers online. And I think that is very important when it comes to your comment section as well, is that if you feel like it is not good for you, then don't do it, basically.
Yeah. I think Roberto talked about this a lot. You got to have boundaries. You got to set those boundaries. I mean, once you have those boundaries set, just stick to them, and then whatever happens, happens. I mean, you don't, I know we're creators and I know we put out content and people will give us feedback and things like that. But in reality, we don't owe anybody anything, okay? You choose to consume our content. Nobody is making you consume our content. So if you consume our content and you want to leave a comment or something like that, that's cool. But we are not obligated to interact with you. We're not obligated to answer your comment. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but we have no obligation. We don't owe you anything, literally.
No, but I think that is what it does feel like, that kind of, I feel like when someone takes the time, assuming that it's a positive comment, when someone takes the time to write a comment, I do feel it's not like negative, like when I say obligated, but I do want to return the favor. Let's put it that way. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. You don't really owe anyone anything.
No.
But it's all about finding that balance again, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all for supporting people that support me. Like I said, if it's a positive comment or something like that, or people just providing genuine support, then yes, I'll interact with them, no problem. But trolls and negative Nancy's and detractors and naysayers, I don't owe you anything. You can go kick rocks for all I care.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I already said, hurt people. That's just something that I really believe, and that also makes the negative comments a lot easier to deal with, because you don't take it personally, because you know that the problem is with the other person.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That really helps as well. Like when you see something negative or somewhat negative, I mean, of course, you need to be open for feedback or constructive criticism. But when it's just criticism, I mean, you can go somewhere else, but preferably not on YouTube. don't harass someone else, but just go.
And that was the PC answer, y'all. I asked her to restrain herself on the podcast today, but she can go much more deeper than it. But she's showing restraint, so shout out to her. Hey, shout out to my man Battery Power for the super chat. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you, man. Always supporting your boy. So thank you, man. Thank you. All right, Lila, let's get into more about your trip to Belfast. And I know when you were out there, I think you met up with Cody Warner and Peter McKinnon and probably a bunch of other creators. So talk about your trip out to the Power of Video.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that feels like forever ago. Unfortunately, yesterday the news came out that Power of Video this year is, I mean, I expected it, but it's canceled. So that's kind of sad because I really wanted to go again, because that is kind of where I felt like it all happened for me. Because I started YouTube in June, early June last year, and then Power of Video was in August. So I was only doing YouTube for like 2 months. And I came across this event, Power Video, and it was in Belfast. I was kind of like, oh, should I go? Should I not go? I don't know. Maybe I should not go. I mean, all those people that go, they're just so much better than me and blah, 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 blah. But then my dad was like, you know what? You should go. If you want to do YouTube, you should go. So I went to Belfast. I met up with some creators. I already knew Cody from before, like we already messaged, and he messaged me that he was coming to Belfast as well. So we decided to meet up in Belfast, which was really great. And then all of a sudden he pulled out his camera and he was like, hey, Lila, what is your channel about? You know? So I was like, what is the channel about? I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. That is usually how it goes for me when someone asks me what I do or who I am. I just always forget who I am and what I do. But yeah, that was great. And then before I came to meet Cody, I was waiting in the hotel lobby, and that is where I met Peter and Potato Jet Gene. He was like literally bleeding out of his elbow because he had an accident or something. So it was an interesting morning. And then after that, I met Peter a few more times. So then at one point I was like, hey, do you wanna contribute to one of my videos that I'm making? He was like, yeah, sure. So that was it basically. And then we saw each other again in LA, which was really fun. So yeah.
Yeah, because I think you went out to LA for VidSummit 2019, right?
I did. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, 2019.
Right. You got it. VidSummit is near and dear to my heart. So you got to talk about your experience at VidSummit 2019. I was at 2018, but I didn't make it to 2019, unfortunately, but you got to talk about it.
Oh my gosh. VidSummit was something else. Like I was so excited. First of all, it was my first time to the United States. So that was very interesting.
Ooh, wow.
But VidSummit, it's just especially like the environment that you're in, and you're surrounded with creators, but not just creators, but like creators who are serious about YouTube and want to learn and want to grow and want to make it into a business. Yep. It is so much more than just a creator event. And when I was there, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. This is it. This is me. I'm home. This is where we should all just buy this hotel and just live be together and just hang out and make videos. It was so great. Like I honestly don't really know how to explain it. It was just, everything was, I think like the information and everything was super valuable, and I learned a lot, but the connections and the friendships, that was for me the most valuable thing of the entire VidSummit. I don't know about you, but that was it for me, definitely.
Yeah, when I went in 2018, I met people like El Jefe Reviews. I met That Talk Tech. I actually ran into Peter McKinnon in the hallway, had him on my live stream for a few seconds. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I met a whole bunch of people at VidSummit 2018. It was probably one of the single best experiences in my life. Like, I had so much fun. And like you said, when you go to VidSummit, you are serious. You are serious about growing and becoming somebody on YouTube because, number one, those tickets are expensive AF. But number two, it's not a fan meetup. There's no fans in attendance. It's basically all creators.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I don't think I've ever been in a place where I saw so many cameras out at one time before. Like, everybody had a camera walking around, and I'm just like, wow, this is legit. This is serious stuff right here. So it was fun.
That was actually my first experience. So when I went to Belfast, that was my first YouTuber event, and I didn't feel awkward anymore because everyone was walking around with a camera. Everyone was talking to a camera. Everyone was just like vlogging and being in each other's vlogs, and it was so different. Like it often feels like I'm living two different lives, like my YouTube life and my regular life here. But when I went to VidSummit as well, like everyone, and that is what I loved as well, is the fact that it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, because at that time I had like 1,500 subscribers, but everyone was interested in talking to you and making conversation, and they were not like, oh, I have 1 million subscribers, so go away now, you know. And it was so relaxing. You could just like chat with everyone, hang out with everyone, and yeah, that is definitely something that VidSummit has that I don't think, like, I haven't been to any other events But I think that is very unique to VidSummit, and that's also because they're bloody expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Tech Examine for the super chat. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you.
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
Michael.
Mike, yeah, Michael, you're his favorite YouTuber. That's what's up. Daddy, what is up? So, in the year or so that you've been doing YouTube, what would you say is your favorite thing about being a YouTube creator?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I think obviously making videos is what I love to do, and the fact that I can now do it and like make money with it and just live my best life basically, or like seeing a future where I can live my best life, let's say that is just freaking amazing. But I honestly think that for me the best part is the community, because all the people that watch my videos and that show up for every video and that follow me on Instagram and Twitter and that are like communicating with me and interact and actually liking me. Like I have never been a popular person. Like I have been bullied and everything. So now being in a community where you can actually be yourself and people appreciate you for who you are and you just value each other, that is, I think, the best part of being on YouTube, in my opinion.
It is such a beautiful thing, Lila, to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who love what you love, who will support you in what you love. And like I tell them all the time, the tech community take care of each other. We all, the creative community as a whole, we take care of each other. We'll be in each other's video. We'll support each other's content. We will do whatever we can to take care of each other as long as you are put in the work and you are being a valuable member of the community. The community will take care of you. And I think you experienced that in your year that you've been doing YouTube, and it's just a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, it is. It is fantastic, and it's literally what I already said. Since I started YouTube, I have never felt more like myself than when I started YouTube and when I started creating videos, because I'm actually 100% me on camera, you know. And when you go to university or at a job or something, you can never really be yourself. But now I can really I don't know, it's just very liberating. And that is why what you said about meeting like-minded people and being around like-minded people is like, it makes me so happy. Like I don't know how to put it into words, honestly. It's just, it's incredible. And I feel incredibly fortunate to be accepted into the community and made the friends that I've made, and just like having everyone who follow me. I don't know. It's just, it's incredible.
I need to explain to you all that are listening to this on audio how we are both smiling from ear to ear while we have this conversation, because we are so genuinely happy about being a part of the YouTube creator community. Let me look, she's beaming again, y'all. Y'all can't see the audio. The people watching can see her, but I just need for you all on audio to understand how she is beaming over there. And it's so great the way that technology works. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. I'm in the Midwest of the United States of America. She is in the Netherlands. She is over in the Netherlands, over across the pond. And we are having a conversation in real time about being creators on YouTube. And I can see her smile radiating her entire household. And I'm over here smiling ear to ear myself, because it's just such a great like vibe to be in this community and to be able to talk to each other about our experiences in this community. So I just need to relay that to you guys listening on audio, because being a creator is an amazing thing.
Honestly, if you can click on a link to see the replay, then go watch the replay and go.
Right.
I don't know, like we are 43 minutes in, I think. So skip to 43 minutes and go smile.
Right, there you go.
Better than seeing a smile, right?
There you go. There you go. So I remember when I had Demon Emin on here a few weeks ago. I asked him an interesting question, so I figure I'll ask you. Lila, what is your favorite part of the creative process?
I can tell you what my least favorite part is.
Yeah, okay, we can do that. Let's go. What's your least favorite part?
Thumbnails. I hate with a passion. Hate making thumbnails. Every time I have to make a thumbnail, I just go, oh, I don't want. I'm again trying to keep it PG. I don't like thumbnails. It's just I really don't like making thumbnails. It's just, I don't know. I need to fall in love with it somehow. Maybe I need to become a better I also don't like photography, you know? So those two, they don't really go together. But what is my favorite part of the creative process? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think a combination of actually just the filming and the editing. Like I love seeing the edit come together when I'm editing, and seeing like the story and the humor and everything to come together into like, I don't know, a piece of me. But I also just really enjoy filming. But I think if I have to choose, I will choose editing, because when I'm editing, I don't need to put on makeup and I don't have to wear a bra. So
wow! Woo! Oh yes! Oh, live content is the best. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So that.
Damn.
This is your first introduction to me. Nice to meet you.
You know, I mean, but she being, that's the beautiful thing about Lila. She being real. She being 100% honest when she tells you, yeah, no makeup, no bra. That's what it is. Like, that's her. That is her in a nutshell.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing that keeps me from actually filming my videos. Is I just sit on my chair and I'm just like, oh, I really need to put on makeup. I really need to make myself look presentable. Don't really feel like it. So definitely the editing, yeah.
I think it's funny because when I was talking to Justine, she was like about how over here we're wearing these masks now. And Justine's like, yeah, I don't have to put on makeup anymore. I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Awesome. Yeah.
Shout out to 504 for the 504 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Definitely, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. The people are generous. I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love my community. My community always holds me down. They are amazing. I am kind of surprised though to hear you say that you don't like thumbnails, because like I said, yours are excellent. So to hear you say that you don't like creating them, but I understand, and I hate it too. I hate to make a thumbnail, so I completely understand. But you're so good at it though.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. I get this comment a lot. Like on Twitter, for example, if people are talking about thumbnails, I always say, oh, I hate making thumbnails. And the people are like, oh, but your thumbnails are good. Don't say that. And I'm just like, but that doesn't mean that I enjoy making them. I really don't enjoy making them, but they turn out like okay or nice. But I'm so jealous of people. I just saw Roberto say that his thumbnail and photography, that is his favorite part. I'm so jealous of people whose favorite part is actually making the thumbnail. I really wish that I could share that passion.
Okay, right. I mean, hell, if I was good as you or Roberto at thumbnails, maybe I might like it more, but I'm not nearly that good. But let's talk about editing, because editing is a very special part of the creative process.
Yes.
I had Justine on here last weekend. I was asking her about after being a creator for like 12, 13 years, she finally just recently decided to give up her editing. Now, I edit all my own videos. Blah, blah. I edit all my own videos, and I think you edit all your own videos. Mm-hmm. I love editing my videos, because even when I shoot a crappy video in real time, I know that I can sit down, turn on Final Cut Pro, and chop it up and make it into something that's presentable. And I can still, like, it's weird to say, but I can still find a way to integrate my personality into the edit that I make.
Yeah.
So talk to us about why you love editing so much.
I think I already mentioned this before. One of the reasons why I love editing so much is because that is really where the story comes alive. When you're doing a tutorial, that's one thing. That's where you can make your personality come to life, which is already a big scale, because I had a client once, and first the company just used a regular video editing service, and then you just get like a cut video. But then I decided I offered to make some videos or edit some of the videos. And those videos were so different. And this is not to brag, but like those videos were so different because I actually take into consideration the personality and how can you make the personality shine. And that is so much fun when it comes to editing my tutorials. And when it comes to editing vlogs or short films, that is where you can really like craft the story. And I think that is, for me, just the best part about editing. I don't know. Is your next question going to be if I want to hire an editor at one point, or?
Wow! Damn! You are good. I was just about to ask you, do you think if your channel like really blows up one day, do you think you can see yourself giving up your editing?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that when you hire people, you should probably hire people for things that you're not good at. And editing is my thing, but I would like to have an editor on the side or something. But at the same time, I don't, like, you already know that I'm a control freak. Like, I don't know if I can give my footage to someone else and then have that person craft my story, and then me being okay with how I'm being portrayed, because I think that it is a very specific skill and a very specific style. So I don't know. I mean, I know that Sarah Dici, I think she's on editor number 9 now or something, you know? That's specific reason, because she is an editor too. And I think when you're an editor, it is so hard to hire someone else when you are good at your craft. So
Yep.
I don't know. I think I want to, because I think that for productivity and everything, it will be so much better if I have an editor. So, you know, you can pump out more content and all of that stuff. But if I can do it, I don't know.
Personally, it's kind of cool and scary at the same time that you knew what my next question was going to be. That's kind of cold blooded.
I think you can leave. I think I can do this by myself now.
right. You can do your own podcast. You can interview yourself. but secondly, I completely understand. Like I said, you know what? Obviously, I'm small fry, so I don't have to worry about hiring an editor like no time soon. But I think it'd be kind of hard for me to like give up editing my videos, just because, like you said, we can put so much of our own personality and just craft our own story into the way we edit our videos. Like, I don't know if like people understand just how like underrated it is, like how the love and ability that you can, the things that you can do when you are editing your own content. Like, it's kind of hard to explain, but obviously when you turn on the camera and you are filming, right? You can talk and deliver your content how you want to. You can put your personality, you can make your personality shine forward. But taking that footage and putting it into the editing room and editing it is a whole nother layer of you personalizing that video. Now, it sounds kind of strange to say, because fundamentally, when you're editing, you're just chopping up the video, adding effects, things like that. But my mother used to tell me there's an art to everything, and there is definitely an art to the way you edit your videos. And it could really make or break your video, literally.
Totally. And when you're filming, like, for example, when I film, I make a lot of mistakes. And then in the editing, I choose the mistakes that I keep in, because it adds to the humor. But an editor, I mean, maybe if I have like a catalog of 500 videos and the editor watches every video and takes notes to see like how I craft my story and add my personality. But I think it's so hard for an editor to understand your humor and which mistakes you'd like to keep in because they're funny and it doesn't break up the flow, you know. I don't know. It's definitely an art. Editing is definitely an art. I think everyone everyone can cut a video and like remove all of the pauses, delete all of those, and just have one video. But that's a video, but it's not a good video, you know. And if you want to make a good video, you really need to start working on your craft and just practicing, which is also why Roberto always says, you know, make 100 crappy videos before you expect anything.
Ooh, did y'all hear what she said? She said you can edit a video, but that doesn't make it a good video. Damn. Wow. You know what? I think we can end it there, because damn, that was profound. But Lila, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
I had so much fun on this chat. I am so glad we made the time to get together and do this. Definitely.
Yeah, I loved it.
Before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you.
So you can find me anywhere. I have been told that you can find me if you just search for Lila on YouTube. But if you cannot find me under Lila, just search anywhere, like on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube, Lila from YouTube. And that is how you can find me. No doubt. Shout out to those of y'all that watched the podcast live today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and Lila. If you're super chatted, became a channel member, brought me a coffee, any of that stuff, thank you so much. For those of y'all watching, I think LFA and putting the link to her channel in the chat. So if you guys want to go check her out, and you should, there is the link right there. Look at the channel URL. Yeah, you need to do something about that. You need to do something about that. No. If you just type in youtube.com/Lila from YouTube, you can find me as well. Oh, so you did do that. You did do something about that. Good job. Okay. All right, cool. All right. You need to do something about that. Shout out to those of y'all that listen to audio only this week. Thank you for listening to another episode of VypDrive with me and Lila. Appreciate you guys rocking out each and every episode. If you want to follow Lila and check her out, and you should, her link will be in the show notes, so definitely go check that out. If you would like to support or donate to the podcast, there will be links in the show notes for you to do that. Not required, but anything that you're willing to do, greatly appreciated. Again,
If you happen to be listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a rating or review as it helps more people discover the podcast. And we're trying to get back into that top 200 of tech podcasts on Apple Podcasts. So please leave that rating or review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. And thank you again for listening to another episode of VypDrive. But before I go out here, for those of y'all that are watching on YouTube, you know I'll be back tomorrow night. I think I am scheduled to go live at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Ether from Ether Does Tech is coming tomorrow night. So that should be another fun episode for you all that watch these live. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.